Yeah, good evening. This is Taib from houseofkicks.com. It's 7:56 p.m. and this is probably my last show of the week. The Jordan 1 sale red is coming out on Saturday. That's like a day from tomorrow. And I'm sure a lot of you guys want to know how many pairs Nike made and should you buy the flip? Because a lot of people, some people want to get it because they like the shoe. Some people want to flip it. Some people want to do whatever you want to do with it. So I'm here to kind of help you a little bit sort out your decision here. So the first thing we want to do is that we always want to see the picture of the shoe. And I always like to go to Nike's website because they have the best pictures. So let's go on Nike. So the shoe comes, I think the leather is like some kind of soft tumble leather. You can't really see it from the picture, but when was looking at this one, I zeroed in on the straps, on the 4-foot strap here. It looks like this is tumbled leather and the perforation on the toe box. And basically, the shoe is like white with red highlights on the threads and the uppers. Basically, the sock liner here is made with a plush fabric. And this shoe kind of reminds me of the Air Max 1 OG again. Nike knows what they're doing. This is Air Max month, and they're kind of celebrating the month of Air Max, and everything's going to look like the original Air Max, just like the Jordan 1 and the Jordan 3 that's coming out. Now, I won't get a chance to write anything about those Jordan 3s, so I'm just going to stick with this one here. Okay, so now that we've seen the picture, let's jump into the article. So, a couple of weeks ago, I think that was like last a week and a half, about maybe 8 days ago, I wrote about the Jordan 1 Phantom Red. Now, the shoe was supposed to come out on the 16th of this month, and Nike switched the date. So I kind of went on StockX, and I saw that StockX had sold about 884 pairs. So the question was this: I was like, hold on a second, the shoe's not even out, and it's like 884 pairs sold on StockX. So how are they authenticating the sneaker? If you don't have an authentic pair as a backdrop, how can you tell that the shoe is authentic or not? Now that's a question I had to ask myself. Now we all know what's going on. Like Nike is probably tracking down and doing some intel, and we don't really know. But I think Nike is like, okay, we need to figure out who's leaking these sneakers out a little bit early. So, and I actually wrote about it because StockX be on Nike's radar, so you can read the article, and he talks basically everything about it. So I will invite you to go and then read that real quick if you get a chance to. Okay. Now let's jump into the projection. So my job is to try to come up with an estimate that's like believable. Okay, we want to know how many pairs are coming out so that you can make your decision better. Now, the first thing you always want to do is this: you have to take in account who's getting the shoe and how many pairs per store. So when I did my little homework, I found out that the major retailers that were getting it were Foot Locker, Foot Action, and Nike, of course. You can go on the website at some point and read it if you want. And the minor chains were Eblens, Jimmy Jazz, Downtown Locker Room, Shoe City, Shoe Polish, and Nice Kicks and Kicks USA. And the next step is to try to figure out how many pairs each store is going to get. Okay? Now, Foot Locker and Foot Action, I'm thinking they're going to get about 1/3 of the entire US inventory. So if Nike makes about 3,000 pairs, Foot Locker is going to get about 1,000. I'm just giving you an example so you understand. Okay. Now, the shoes were given on a first come, first served basis. So I'm thinking each Foot Action and each Foot Locker is going to get about 18 pairs. There are exceptions, of course, because some House of Hoops may get like 70 or more pairs in stock. But to be fair, I stick with the 18, and at the end, I can do some round off to make it more fair. Okay. Now, FTA and FTL online are going to get about 1/3 of the inventory the physical locations are getting. Now that we have our basic assumptions, we can go ahead and find the numbers. Now, I went to tedious like work, man. I had to go through each state and find out how many stores are getting the shoe per state. Now, in Alabama, for example, it was 8. In California, it was 62. In Colorado, 8. In Delaware, it was 2. In Florida, 41. So what I realized is this: per state, it was 2/3 of each of the entire Foot Lockers that were getting it. So if in one state there was like 3 Foot Lockers, 2 out of 3 were getting it. So I established a pattern there, but I still went through every single one of them till Wisconsin. And then I came up with a total of 595 Foot Locker locations. For Foot Action, I did the same thing. I went in and I found the stores, and I did my 2/3, and I came up with 181. Now you can always go back to Foot Locker and then count these up if you want. Good luck with that. Okay, you can put your zip code here and just trying to find out the numbers. You can do the same thing with Foot Action. It's tedious work, and you gotta be a little bit patient if you want to do that. Okay. Now that we have stores, we're gonna do the simple multiplication. 595 times 18 plus 181 times 18, and I came up with 13,968. That's for the physical locations, and then for the online locations, we're just gonna do 13,968 divided by 3, which is 4656. And then to find the total for Foot Action, Foot Locker, meaning online and physical location, you add them up together. I came up with 18,624. And because of the 70 that I talked about earlier, remember what I said, like some store might be getting 70 pairs? I took the number up to 20,000 to kind of like cover for the errors that we might have made, okay? Now the grand total for the entire USA will be 20,000 times 3, which is 60,000. And to find what everybody else is getting, meaning the rest of the world, we just do 60 times 2. I'm thinking 120,000, okay? So if the United States is getting 60,000, I'm thinking everybody else might get half of that. Not half of that, half of the entire number. So 60 and 60. It may be different. Everything here is based on my assumption. So take that with a grain of salt. Now, should you cop the flip? Now, usually I check like eBay and Fixify and StockX, but I didn't feel like doing all that the other day when I was writing the article. So I just went on StockX. And then again, I was kind of flabbergasted. I was really surprised because 1,554 pairs were sold in total, meaning 670 more have been sold since the last time I wrote this article. And then the markup one is like 41.3%. And the average sale price is 237. Now, should you cop the flip? Now, you can answer that question yourself. There are many other contingencies that I'm not going to talk about. You know, you can kind of do your own homework on that. But I went on eBay, and it wasn't really conclusive because there wasn't that much data. And I went on Fixify. And if you look on Fixify, most of the shoes that sold were, there's a lot of people listing like 269, but the sales occurred at 220 and 215, 6 sold here. You know, everybody that charges like more than 220 is not getting any kind of bite. Okay, this is 209. This dude didn't even sell it. I think he's selling big sizes. Wow, interesting. And so I'm thinking, let me see if this guy sold any. Now, if you see on Fixify, so far I've only recorded like 8 sales. You see that? Now, most of the sales are coming through StockX. So StockX is really, really prolific, man. They're really making a lot of good, because the interface is just nice. It's better. All right? So the shoe is selling for like 220, 237 on StockX. That's an average. The markup is 41.3%. You can make your decision based on what you've seen here. All right? Now, if you want to buy the shoes, there's a list of stockists that I put on my website. You can check that. Or you can just click on one of these and then you can just, it takes you straight to the website. You can make your purchase. All right? Now, I hope this is helpful to you guys. If you have any questions, if you want me to work on anything else, like any other shoe, just shoot me a quick message and I'll work on it because I don't have time to cover every single release. I'll try to work on those that are more like interesting. So if you have any suggestions, please send me an email. All right. Thanks for watching. This is Ty from Master Kicks, and stay tuned for more stuff.